Welcome to Multifamily Grit, where we bring in the experts to share the pros and cons and celebrations and struggles of the most important industry in the U.S., multifamily property management. Today, we are chatting with Tabitha Isbill, President of Evergreen Real Estate, about two of her favorite topics, customer service and affordable housing. Tabitha has been creating success in multifamily for everyone involved, residents, on-site teams, and owners, leading to her own incredible success. And before we get started, we are sponsored today by Fortress OS, the only core property management operating system built with an emphasis for today's affordable operators. Ready for your applicants, leasing agents, and compliance team to love the software they work in and the job they do every day? If you like what you hear today, please like and subscribe. Tabitha, thank you so much for being here today. It has been too long since we've connected.
I know.
Before we dig in, I'd really love for you to take a chance to just tell our listeners a little bit about how you got started in the industry.
So I got started back in 2000, and I started working for a builder and developer, and I did leasing of houses, apartment communities, and storage units. So done that for about 12 years.
Yeah.
Worked for him, done everything kind of from the leasing side to the accounts receivable side, and enjoyed it, and then ended up getting more into the multifamily.
Yeah.
And became a manager of an apartment community, and then moved up to a regional, and then an asset manager, and now president of Evergreen Real Estate.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Evergreen and what you do there.
So I kind of wear multiple hats right now because we manage and we own or manage.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore I am kind of the asset manager as well as the president and the regional.
Yeah.
So I stay very busy,
Yes.
but I love what I do.
Yeah.
And it gives me the opportunity to really interact with our employees, which I truly love.
Yeah.
Because they're like family, you know? And so it just gives me that chance to interact with them, the maintenance team, the leasing staff, assistants, managers, and but I also do some of the HR, some of the payroll, as well as the accounting side of things with the financials. So just doing a little bit of everything.
You really are running your own empire over there, doing it all.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I do have a bookkeeper / accountant, and she's awesome. So she's kind of my right hand.
Yep.
And then I have some really strong managers I can lean on to help in the time that things get too crazy. But they're awesome. They've been with me for a long time.
Yeah.
So they kind of know my expectations. And so they're great to kind of send out and do a property walk or something I might not be able to get to.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really enjoy people and building good teams.
One of the things I have always respected about you is that you were always on site, always. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when a lot of regional, back a while ago, when you were regional a long time ago, but even when a lot of regionals wanted to spend time at home in their home office, you would always be on site in an office. Like you would find a place on site to be on site. You wanted to be on site. You were so passionate about that and being surrounded by your team members. And I just love that so much. Yeah. And I think that lends so well to how important customer service is to you.
Exactly.
Because,
it is.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And I always felt like if I'm on site, then I can see what's going on in the day-to-day, you know, and if they're having issues, I'm there to know what kind of issues they're having.
Yeah.
And be able to really just step in and try to do whatever needs to be done to address those issues to help them be more successful.
Yeah.
And so that's what I enjoyed about just being on site and being able to interact with them and building that kind of that rapport with the team, and letting them know that you can call me, you can text me. Don't be nervous that I'm coming to your property. I always remember when my regional would come to the property and everybody would be so nervous, It's like, oh my gosh, And I don't want my teams to feel that way.
Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable and not scared.
Yes.
So that's why I like to spend a lot of time on site.
I think it's the epitome of customer service. You were there serving them. Like if you weren't there, you couldn't serve them. And so just being there and constantly available for them. And like you said, understanding where their struggles were so that you
Yes.
could be there to help them through them and to serve them. I think it's really the epitome, which I think blends just so well to this conversation that we're going to have today because it's something you're so passionate about, customer service.
I am.
So tell us a little bit about it. Why are you so passionate about it?
Well, I just honestly, it builds where your teams want to stay with you. And, in this day and time, it's really, really hard to build that team,
Yeah,
to
it
hire
is.
people in general, to find these people.
Yeah.
And then when you do, and you have a great person working for you, it's just you want them to know that you value them.
Yeah.
And in return, they produce well.
Yes.
And then that customer service reflects to your residents.
Yes.
And so I'm just really big on the managers and the on-site leasing teams really building the rapport with the residents, with the prospects that come in, and really getting to know them and making them feel comfortable and want to live at that community.
Yeah.
So it just kind of flows. It starts with me, and then it just flows down.
Yeah.
So customer service is huge.
Yes.
It really will make someone decide, hey, that's where I want to live. That person made a great impression on me. I really feel like, I can communicate with them. And then they're going to be living there, and so they feel comfortable with that person they toured with. They build a rapport with them. And it's just so important.
Yeah.
And customer service, I feel like, has just really went downhill in a lot of places.
Yeah.
You just don't get the customer service. And it's so important to have that customer service because you get reviews based on it. Word of mouth. It's just so important.
Yeah. So customer service has gone downhill.
Yes.
I have a feeling you're going to tie this to COVID, but tell me a little bit about more about how you feel about that.
Yeah. So a lot of it kind of is COVID.
Yeah.
It took all of the hands-on approach out of things. Everything went to virtual tours.
Yeah.
Just taking that personal touch out of things. So, that was, a struggle trying to get people back in that way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because they were so used to just sending an email with the virtual tour or doing self-guided tours.
Yeah.
And so being able to help them realize, hey, we've got to get back out there. We've got to market again. The areas have become very competitive.
Yeah.
And so we have to get back down to the basics.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I was actually speaking with someone the other day who said that pre-2020, like in 2020 and prior to 2020, that you could lease an apartment if you could breathe. Like being able to lease only required the ability to breathe. But like today, leasing is actually kind of hard. Like it's pretty competitive and it's pretty difficult right now. Are you experiencing that same thing?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Just because there's so many new builds and everybody is becoming competitive with reduced rates, specials. So we are definitely, feeling that.
Yeah.
The traffic is still there, but you've got to stand out.
Yeah.
So if you want these prospects to lease from you, you've got to stand out. You got to make you've got to make them want to lease that property.
Yeah.
And customer service is one of the biggest things. First of all, and then just the overall the atmosphere. So definitely, we've definitely felt that things have kind of just went backwards a little bit. It did kind of keep people put. Nobody was wanting to move or to do anything. And so now we're getting that turnover. And then with all the new builds, it's just very competitive. So you have to stand out in a way.
Yeah. Tell me some of the things you and I chatted about this before, and I love the things that you guys are doing. So tell me about some of the things that you're doing to help you stand out, help with that resident retention.
Yeah. So basically we're doing some leasing kind of back to the basics 101, going back and helping the leasing team, ask what's important to you in your home.
Yes.
nobody was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
What's important to you in your home? Will you be bringing your furry friend?
Yeah.
How did you hear about us? Because you want to know what's working for you. You're spending
Yeah.
a lot of money on advertisement. What's working for you?
Yeah. I love
Really
the question
asking those
about
questions.
asking, like, what are you looking for in your apartment home? What's
Yeah.
important to you? I will never forget one of my really great team members early on was talking about how she was touring this set of apartments, brand new, gorgeous apartments, had these massive windows to all the applicants that were coming in. And as she was touring these applicants, she kept saying, like, look at these amazing windows and these views and like all this natural sunlight, and it's amazing. And they weren't getting any applications on the units. And finally, one of the applicants said, well, like, I work at the hospital across the street, and a lot of times I work night shifts, so I need to be able to sleep during the day, and like the windows are going to be too bright in here. And she was like, oh my goodness, I've been showcasing these windows and like calling them out immediately, and that's been hurting me. What I should have been doing instead is saying, like, what are you looking for in the apartment?
In your new home.
What's important to you in your new home? Yep. Yeah.
And that is that. Yeah. So that's exactly why we kind of have to get back to those basics.
Yeah.
What are you, because where they're at may not have, what they're looking for now. And so it's important to, showcase when they come in, those things that you have that maybe they mentioned.
Yep.
That's important to them. The fitness center, a pet spa, an area for the dogs to play, just really finding out what's important to them. So that way, when you tour them, you have that note there and you can point out the items that they mentioned that was important to them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's bringing the art back into the customer service that I feel like we have been missing, especially when things went so digital and we just allowed, I think, technology to run that service rather than the personal aspect of it. And I say all the time, if I were to move back into an apartment and make the decision of where I called home for my family and I in an apartment community, I would 100% make that decision on where I felt most comfortable, period. Like, that would be my location would probably be my number one priority because of schools and kids and, But other than that, like, the next thing would absolutely be, where do I feel most comfortable? And that's going to come from the level of customer service, whether that's the maintenance technicians and their customer service and keeping the property looking and feeling clean, or whether that's the leasing consultants and their ability to make you feel welcome and at home when you're in the community. But I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, for sure. And then, one thing that I've had them do in our leasing classes is basically be like, okay, I'll hand out some phone numbers of, some of our competitors.
I love this so much.
Yeah, and have them call.
Yep.
And then when they get off the phone, I'm like, okay, would you want to go tour there?
Yeah.
Did they make you feel like, oh my goodness, I want to go tour with that person? They made me feel like, oh my, this place is amazing. So, I try to help them see how other people are answering the phones, how they made them feel.
Yeah.
And then that really helps them understand, okay, what are we doing? And then I'll also give out our, some of our portfolio's phone numbers.
Yeah.
And have each, like leasing team call another property and see, okay, are we doing things differently? How did you feel when you called one of the Evergreen properties? Yeah. So because you do, most of the time, the initial interaction is over the phone. So, did they follow up with you? With you? Did they send you an email thanking you for calling and send, maybe you send them the floor plan that they were interested in or the virtual tour of the unit they were interested in, just giving them the information that they need. And so that's kind of getting back to the basics of leasing, just starting back over, back to square one. And asking the important questions.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the important questions because I do think I will just never forget that story about the windows. And, the fact that she was trying to sell these like high-end units where she should have been focusing on the interior units that had less windows and less sun for those specific people that were coming in, if you would have just asked the right questions. And so, customizing the sale, the art of the sale, the art of customer success and customer service in focusing it on that person, the person you're selling to, not to yourself and not to what you think about the unit. I just think it's so important.
And then giving that same spill to each prospect.
Yeah.
Because everyone's different and everyone has a different preference.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have to adapt to
Yeah.
that person that you're touring with, you know, because everyone is different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. And in your communities, you mentioned some of the customer service that you're putting forward inside of the communities to the residents that are currently
Yeah.
there in order to reduce the turnover that you're experiencing in this hyper-competitive market. So tell us a little bit about the things that you're doing in the communities.
So, pets are just you know, a big part of people now.
Yep.
You know, they're family members.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we've realized is doing some yappy hours. You know, having that's what we call it.
I love it.
And then having the pets come down with their owners. We'll have like a sponsor from a couple of like pet daycare centers and grooming spas. They'll bring some of their items in. So the pets are getting free treats, free toys to take home. And then the residents are getting to know the area better.
Yep.
And then they build that relationship with that pet groomer. And it's right over across the street from where they live.
Yeah.
And so then when it gets time and they think, you know, oh, my lease is up, I want to stay. My pet groomer's across the street.
Yeah.
My pet daycare's just down the road.
I love that.
You know?
So smart.
Yeah. So just bringing those people in and, you know, your residents are building, you know, relationships to people in the area. And that keeps them where they feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
So the pets are a big thing.
Yep.
We've got a couple that lives at one of our communities, and we're not able to do this at all communities, but this one property we're able to. They do a cooking class.
Oh, fun.
And it has been a huge hit. I mean, a ton of people come and they do a cooking class. They show them how to make certain meals. They get to eat.
Oh, that is
and
so
they get
fun.
to take like the recipes home with them.
Yeah.
So that has been a huge hit, and we do it once a month. So we try to have.
That is so
Yeah.
fun. Can I ask, logistically, where are they doing this at? Do you have like
we have a
state?
clubhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have like an oven. So everything they bring down is really like easy to make.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like quick, easy things to make because everybody's life is so busy.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
you rarely have time to cook anymore,
Yeah.
you know? So it's fun, quick things to make. So they'll come down and they basically, I mean, just do everything there on the little bar area that we have
Yeah.
in the club room. And then, you know, everybody's sitting, watching them make the meals, asking questions. And then everybody gets to eat together. You know, they make
love it.
friends.
So engaging.
Yeah. They make
Yes.
friends there at the community.
Yeah.
And then they get to take those recipes home.
Yeah.
So that has been a really great thing. And it's free because the resident, they live there. You know, so if you can find people that live within your community that do certain things, then that is something free to your residents. And it's something that your current resident that's providing it enjoys doing.
Yeah. Yes.
So-
Just a sense of like community engagement.
Yeah,
The same thing with
for
the
sure.
Yappy Hour.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think that's brilliant
Yes.
to bring in the service providers in the
Yes.
area right next door down the street to like create that attachment because
It
no one
does.
wants to leave their favorite doggy daycare.
They
Like,
don't, no.
No one wants to leave that.
And then we try, you know, I reach out to a lot of them and I try to get like set up where they get a discount.
Yes.
So like the groomers across the street, they get a 5% discount if they live, you know, at our community.
Yeah.
And some of the daycares. So just reaching out and then they're like, oh, I get a discount because I live here.
Yeah.
And it just really has helped with that retention because after COVID, you know, people were ready to go.
Yeah.
People were ready to get back out there.
Mhm.
So that has really helped us, you know, doing these activities. Another big thing is sending your residents birthday cards.
Really? You guys
Yeah.
still do that? Wow.
Yeah. So just, you know, being able to pull the birthdays, sending them out, you know, hey, happy birthday, and your whole team sign it.
Yes.
You know, that is important.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we've even got the customer service at most of my properties where they know that, like we had a resident that lost a pet. And they sent a sympathy card, and all of
Yeah.
them signed it. You know,
Yeah.
so just really, you know, doing things like that helps, you know, keep the retention
Yeah.
of your residents.
Oh, it's such a
Yeah.
lost art of that servant type leadership where like the team feels empowered
Yeah.
to do that and to really create that level of touch
Yes.
with the residents. That's incredible.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I
love
agree.
it.
And we have been successful
Yeah.
because of that. Our occupancies have been great.
Yeah.
And we have just been very fortunate.
Yeah.
And then our retention's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
it works.
Yes, I agree. I think the basics work so much more. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so much of a push today to bring in more and more technology into sites. And I think for me, there's a couple of problems with that. There's some good with it too, but there are a couple of problems. I think first and foremost, there's this feeling that the more tech that you use, the less people you need. Like there's like a general consensus, or there's a push for it, at least an attempt to get there. And I joke a little bit about this, but I think we have way too few people on site as it is, generally speaking.
I agree.
So I feel like you could deploy all the tech in the world, and you
Yeah.
still cannot reduce the number of people that you have on
Right.
site today. So I think continuing to talk about the basics of customer service and how important the people are that are on site, the people that are there on the teams, is just so important.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like when you call and you get that automated.
Yes.
And then you're having to push all of these numbers.
Yes.
It's so frustrating. You're like, I just want to speak to somebody.
I know. I don't care what I'm calling. I don't care if it's like Amazon or Target or if I'm calling you, I'm just like pushing the button like 0, 0, 0,
Exactly.
0.
And now it'll be like,
phone.
We're hanging up on you now.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, you're not.
Yes.
So, but you want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
There's certain questions that virtual person is not able to answer, you know? So you do want to talk to somebody. So I'm really big on not having that initial pickup, of press 1 for this or 2 for that. I want my teams answering that phone. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
I'm whatever your name is. How can I help you today?
Yes.
So I don't ever want to get to that because it does take that personal touch out.
Yeah, I agree with you so much. I feel like if the automation works in some forms, text messaging, those sorts of things.
Yes.
But if I get an automation on the phone, I am like I said, I'm that habitual, I'm that angry zero pusher.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
I'm all about that 0. And then sometimes I think they've realized that and they've took that 0 option out.
I think some of them have, and that just makes me even more angry.
I know, me too. And I'm like, I'm not calling them ever again.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's very frustrating.
Yes. Well, tell me, so the customer service conversation is fantastic. Tell me, you're also super passionate about affordable. So how is that? How are you handling customer service in affordable housing? Is it similar? Is it dissimilar? Are there nuances? Are there things that you have to think about? And what are you focusing on in affordable right now?
So honestly, we it's just the same.
Yeah.
They're not treated any differently.
Yep.
I train the customer service, whether it's conventional, affordable, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The customer service level is the same.
Yep.
The customer comes first.
Yep.
And it's just very important.
Yeah.
But we've got a new lease up, which is Shelby House, which is just right here in Nashville downtown.
Amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations.
And speaking of views, it has the most amazing views and windows. But we have had our first set of move-ins, and to see their faces.
Now, this is an affordable community.
Yes, it's affordable. So
all 100%
it's
affordable?
100%
How many units?
affordable. 195 units.
That's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible.
So-
What percent of AMI?
So we do have the 30% PBV vouchers.
Oh, wow.
So we have some of those that go through MDHA
Okay.
for those vouchers. And then we have the 60% and we have 80%.
Wow.
So
Okay.
some
So
of
a
that-
large demographic.
Yeah.
And like some of those most highly in need of housing right now.
Exactly. So you can
Yes.
even have incomes pretty high
Yeah.
and live there
Yeah.
and get great rates.
Yep.
And they, it's like luxury A-class community. Nice parking garage.
Yeah.
You've got stainless appliances, granite countertops, amazing views, hardwood flooring. So in-unit washer and dryers. So, people that are coming in and walking them into their new home, I mean, it's just, it's priceless.
Yeah.
To see their face. Some of them start, just crying or screaming. They're so excited.
Yeah.
We actually had a lady that had been living in her car for about a month, and her car had no AC, and you know how hot it's been,
Yeah.
And so to bring her in and to let her see her new home,
Yeah.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
It's just we're able to give back,
Yeah.
to the community and help people that need help,
Yeah.
that are struggling.
Yeah.
And so it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And we've got another phase of Shelby that's going to take place here in the next probably year and a half for, lease up. But going to have some of the same structure. So we're just wanting to help as many people as we can. And that just really, it means a lot to me to be able to be part of that and to help these people that, have the lower incomes, have a nice place to call home.
Yeah, right in the city, right?
Yeah.
Where we really need it. I mean,
Yes.
in order for Nashville to continue to not only survive, but thrive, we need to have those that we rely on the most to help fuel the city, like actually living
Exactly.
in the city close to where
Yes.
they work and like have that accessibility. So
Yeah.
I love that so
And a
much.
lot of it is just, it's in walking distance to a lot of people's jobs.
Yep.
So it's the convenience.
Yeah.
Like you said, that's important.
Yeah.
Getting them close to everything.
Yeah. And for them to have an opportunity to live somewhere that's so nice.
Oh,
It's been
yeah.
so intentionally designed
Yes.
and built. And the fact that you're there to help them move in,
Oh,
that's really
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. So we just, I got together some, moving gifts. We done some little gifts in each unit. We personally, I had the teams, the manager and assistant leasing personally sign a thank you card. And so it's in every unit when they walk in with some little toilet paper all wrapped up really cute. Back to the basics, moving gifts with, with a trash bag and some Tide Pods in it.
Yeah.
Just the things when you go in, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't have a trash bag. Where's a trash bag?
Oh my gosh, dish soap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I need some toilet paper.
Yes.
So all that stuff's right there, just with a personal note from the office team thanking them for making Shelby House their new home. So
I love that so much.
And they have come down and said, thank you so much for my gift.
Yeah.
So that just means so much, I just truly enjoy bringing happiness, and it truly has.
Yeah. I think it's so easy and affordable because the demand for affordable housing is so high. And so many of us that manage affordable have these massive waiting lists. And so it's really easy to put the customer service to the wayside, right? And instead just focus on the logistics of like physically getting the applications completed, getting someone approved and getting them in the unit and not really going above and beyond that. And I think going above and beyond that and making them feel good, making them feel happy and thought of and invested in and going that extra mile can be really impactful to humans, to the people who are living there.
And that was my thoughts, because yes, we get a ton of calls talking about, competitive. It's not so competitive, because people need these. And so there's a lot of people calling, that traffic is there, but really just taking the time to bring that individual in, spending that time with them, going through their paperwork with them, and giving that customer service to them, and not just kind of running through it, to get them in, but making them feel at home too, So definitely my team, they know how big customer service is to me, and they bring that to the residents there as well.
Yeah, I love it. So affordable housing, is there anything else that you focus on in the affordable world or any other thoughts that you have about affordable housing? I know how important it is to all the communities that we're in, but for those of us who are in it day to day, managing it, leasing it up, dealing with those residents, any other thoughts in that world?
The big thing is, because sometimes with the affordable housing, the overall community and the way the residents treat it can get away from you.
Okay.
That does happen.
Yeah.
They come in like, oh, this place is beautiful. We want to keep it that way. So it starts with your team and how they manage that site.
Okay.
So basically, going in and doing inspections. You have to do those inspections. It's so important.
Yes.
To do the inspections. If there's an issue, we're going to send out a notice. You've got 14 days to cure
Mhm.
whatever that issue may be. We're coming back and we're going to rewalk that unit. If anything's going on within the property and damaging things, or if you have, unattended children, addressing those things right off the bat,
Yep.
That's what's important,
Yep.
because once you set that tone, then it's going to be followed,
Yeah.
but it's really staying on top of those things and not getting lax and just allowing people to do whatever they want to do, because we have a beautiful community. We want to keep it that way, and we want our residents to know we need their help to keep it that way. So really just communicating with them from day one and sending out newsletters. So we're going to do that. We're going to send out newsletters with reminders about how to use the trash chute, what to put in it and what not to put in it, and just overall conduct.
Yep.
So that's kind of where it starts, just so that way they respect your community as much as you do.
I think that's so smart. This really reminds me of something very personal. But when before we moved a few years ago, 3 years ago, we had a very small play area for my boys, and very, very small. And it just always felt messy because there wasn't really a place for everything, right? And because it was just so tiny. And so then when we moved and they had a bigger play area, we were so adamant that it had to stay clean now, because when it was small and things didn't have a place, it was really easy for it to just be messy. And then you just accepted messy as the status quo. But then when you actually have space and things can be organized, then things need to be organized, and then that becomes the status quo, and then you have to reinforce that. And like the minute that there's a bucket of toys left out on the floor, then all of a sudden all the other buckets of toys can be left out on the floor.
That's right.
Putting everything away. So I love it. I think just getting back to the basics of that too, which is like if you can keep a certain level of that standard there in the community and hold everybody to it, and this goes for any community, but especially those where people are sometimes leaving environments like the small toy room, like this, the really small room where there wasn't a lot of space, there wasn't room for organization, and creating that standard that you're looking for, right? That then when they come to a place where it is, like enforcing that from day one and making sure that that's the new way of managing it.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what's important. It's just like with kids, you know? It is just how you not necessarily train them, but how you set that standard.
Set the standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean we all do it. Even in our families, in our companies, at our communities, like we set a standard and then we make sure everybody abides by it. Yeah. For the benefit of everyone.
And I think that is what is important. I mean, we have 2 other affordable housings in the Germantown area.
Yeah.
And, we have set that standard, and people love to call those places home, so we want to continue doing that. And it starts with your team. I mean, if you don't have a good team, then they can't enforce those things, So, I agree. I think it's just that the standard.
Yeah. Yes, I love it, setting the standard.
Yes.
Well, Tabitha, this has been an awesome conversation. I've loved chatting with you about your passion for customer service and your passion for affordable housing, both things I'm also very passionate about, even though I ironically run a tech company, and I would still argue that the people are so important. And like I said earlier, that no amount of tech can replace the need for that customer service and those people on site. So this is so great chatting with you. Before we go, I know you have tons of stories. You and I have had enough experience in this industry together. I know you have stories. So would you mind sharing a story?
I don't mind. So I do have one. Back when I was on site as a manager, I managed a property that was in the woods. Yeah. So it had a great setting, but it was an older community. And we had what you call palmetto bugs. So they are like a tree bug.
Okay.
They're actually like a roach. They're not like the infestation ones.
Okay.
They're called palmetto bugs.
Okay.
And so
they look like roaches though?
They do.
Okay.
But they're bigger.
Okay.
They're bigger.
Okay.
So but they're not the ones that like scatter.
Okay.
But so they are bigger. But so our community, those bugs would get into the unit sometimes or into the office. So it's just one of those things we kind of had to deal with.
Yeah, I mean,
because
if you're
they
in the
come
woods,
in from outside.
Yeah.
You wanted this in the woods living.
Yeah.
It comes with some tree bugs.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did have a resident at one time he just was very frustrated that, even that one would get in his unit.
Mm-hmm.
And we would spray for him, have the pest control come out and spray. Even though we knew it wasn't really going to do anything, we did that for him to let him know.
They weren't infestation
No,
bugs.
they're not.
Just like, they would mistakenly get inside.
Yeah, they just come in
like a fly.
Like if you open the door or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so you're
they're
excessively
ugly.
spraying.
I mean, they're big. Like you can put saddle on these things and ride them. They're big.
Okay, you've set the stage appropriately now. I'm thoroughly creeped out.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So they're big. They are creepy. I was scared to death of them. But he was just so, upset with these bugs. And he comes into my office one day, and he literally, I was a little concerned because I seen the cup, and I wasn't quite sure what was going on,
No.
And he was like, I want you to feel the way I feel. And next thing I know, that cup goes like this. And the bugs hit me in the chest.
Oh.
There was 2 of them, and they came down on the table. And I was like, I couldn't speak. And I was like, please get those. And he was like, no. And I was like, you need to leave. You need to leave. So he got up and he said, now you feel the way I feel. And he left. So I had one of my maintenance guys, of course, come down and get those 2 little dead bugs. But I'm telling you, that stands when you say, tell me a story.
Yes.
That is one thing that just pops up in my mind because it really, I felt bad that he had them. I didn't like them either.
Yeah.
But I didn't want them on me, But ananyway, that's just one of the stories that really stands out in my mind. And, I've told my children.
Tell me you evicted this guy.
Well.
Please tell me you got your retribution because this is terrible. You're like one of the sweetest humans I know. I cannot imagine someone throwing bugs at you.
Yeah, he did. He was not nice at all. But I did, going forward, I asked that if he had any communication that needed to be done with the office or myself, that it be emailed. So that's how we handled that situation. So that way he wouldn't be bringing anything into the office to share with me.
He's no longer welcome in your office.
No. He was not. So, but eventually I think he ended up turning in his notice. And crazy thing was, the community I had went to, I had seen his application there. And I was like, oh, no.
Denied.
Denied. No, but it wasn't in the woods, so maybe
a little note.
Maybe it would have been okay.
Yeah.
I think he didn't end up leasing there, so that was a good thing. But
funny.
I will never forget it.
Yeah.
Never. Yeah, it sticks with me.
Oh
because I am not a bug person anyway.
Yeah.
So that was a bad experience.
Oh my goodness. Well, it was an entertaining story.
Yes,
so
it is entertaining now.
It's one of the stories you get to tell.
Then.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh, well,
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And Tabitha, thank you so much for taking the time today.
I loved it.
Yes, this is a great conversation.
Thank
I appreciate
you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes.